folks, David here on the Vintage Future, and this is the moment you've all been waiting for, but didn't know it because I never announced that I was going to do this. These are now my favorite engineer boots. These are Benzein. Well, they changed their name to Briselblack, but I always remember them as Benzein, so I keep calling them Benzein. Sorry. Briselblack engineer boots on the Kapak Last in a leather I've been meaning to try for a really long time. Vegetable tanned, aniline finish, Tochigi cowhide. This is what they call color 5 or Kashmir. I don't know how they want me to say that. But anyways, yeah, really, really cool. Really excited. As I said, they're my favorites, which goes to show the most expensive boots are not necessarily the best for you. You need to figure out what you like and then spend whatever money that costs. That could be $2,000 or it could be $50. If the things that you're looking for are in the $50 boot, just get that. That's the best for you, you know? So, because, you know, at this point I've tried, not all of them, but I've tried Roll Club. I've had 2 pairs of those. I've tried Clinch, with like those with the Jodhpurs and the Highliners. I've had like 3 pairs of those. This is my second pair of Benzeins. I've had Westco. I'm trying to remember if I've had other engineers. Anyways, I've had a lot. And what I found is this boot, stock, it's not like custom measurements or anything, is my best all-around fit. The Roll Club really is like essentially a perfect fit. But as time went on, I realized I don't like the way he sizes you for length. A lot of people like it. I don't. I like extra length in the toe, and so that's not his fault or mine. It's just preference, right? So for that reason, I'd say these are closest to what I prefer in the fit of a boot, even though they aren't like perfect across the instep and stuff like that, like you would have with the Roll Club. But yeah, closest to what I want with fit, the look of them, the feel of them, the options. They're like a fraction of the price of some of these other companies. Yeah, you kind of get it all. Now, doesn't mean the experience was perfect, but overall, I really dig these a lot. And I like brown boots more than black boots anyways. And my Clinch and my Roll Clubs are black. So I wanted those to be black, but these are kind of like my number one gun right now because they're brown, and I tend to gravitate toward that. So, okay. What's my experience like? Ordered them in April. They came at the end of November, almost December. So that's like 7 months or so. I don't have an issue with that, but the issue there was like communication, which I'm not really going to knock them for that. These shops in Indonesia are really small. There's a lot of supply chain issues. I think even more so than the things that we're experiencing in the West for the last 2 years. Everyone keeps talking about there's supply chain issues, you know. Yes, there are, but like in these small shops in Indonesia, they're going to have more supply chain issues. It's sometimes harder to come by things. Sometimes I have to share materials. Anyways, so I don't have an issue with the time it took. The bigger issue was like communication, because it'd be like, they'll be ready next month. And then that month would come and it'd be like, okay, are they ready? Oh, no, we haven't even touched them. What about next month? And it just kept doing that to me for like 5 months. Again, hey, it's fine. It's completely fine. I wasn't upset. But I'm just telling you so that you know that's just how they roll sometimes over there, because they have to, okay? And so don't be upset. Don't be that rude customer. Don't be that super stuck-up, demanding American that's like, I asked for it at this month and I didn't get it. What's wrong with you? Like, don't fight your cause with them. Just be cool and wait, and you get a good product, okay? I know over here in America it's a little different. You feel like you have a right to great customer service or whatever, and the customer's always right. But it's just like, that's the other side of the world. They're doing the best they can. And you know what? They're great people and they have great products. So just, you know, cut them some slack. And it can't be about the time frame, okay? It's just got to be, hey, I'm buying these boots. They're going to be pretty amazing, most likely. And these people have pretty good English, fairly good communication. They're not going to rip you off. And you just have to wait, okay? So that was a little annoying, but I could deal with it. Specs. Oh, by the way, I order these, like the way you do this in case you don't know. You like DM them on Instagram, find Briselblack Bootmaker, and you just DM them. The guy's name is Audie. I think I'm saying that right. I'm not sure if he's actually the one I'm talking to on Instagram, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. But really good stuff. I'll start turning these things around in a second here when I start analyzing them more. Sorry, it's just like the same. You're staring at the same thing. Specs. They had sized me before with my previous pair. I had the Shinky oiled horsebutt pair. That leather just wasn't vibing with me, so I got rid of those. But at that point, I knew I nailed the size, which is basically true to size, okay? So you take your European size equivalent. So my American size, my Brannock's a 10.5, so usually I would take like a 10D. And so you translate that to European sizes, and I'm usually like a 43.5, okay? So I got that true to size, fits like a glove, it's great. And I just needed a new leather. And the Kapak Last I used last time, same, really nice. It starts out looking a little, by the way, I don't mind this collapsed toe. Some people will. You can just get a toe puff if you don't like that. But I don't like the toe puff thing, and I don't really care about the collapsing toe. So anyways, it looks a little like squarish at first, but then it rounds off nicely and ends up looking like this. I'm going to show you this one instead because this one doesn't have that toe collapse. It's not so weird for some of you. Yeah, and then the side profile ends up being like, yeah, right? Good stuff. Anyways, good last, that Kapak Last. And it's brown Tochigi leather. What do I want to say about this? Well, it's aniline, full veg tan, but it acts weird. Like, I have gotten these like covered in mud a few times, and they just don't want to like darken and stuff the way that like a Badalassi Minerva leather would, or some of the other veg tan leathers I've tried, which is fine, but it really threw me. I was just like, oh, okay, was not expecting that. But, you know, wear them long enough, they will do that. I ended up putting some Obenhofs on them, and they darkened a bit, which was cool. And I did that because they got like soaking wet a couple times in the rain and then really muddy. And I cleaned them off and was like, you know, they need some conditioning, and might as well try to darken them up while I'm at it, because I really wanted them to be a little darker. Because this is pretty much the color right here that they started out off as you can see in some of the photos that I took right when I got them. Hand welted, which is pretty amazing that you could get those for that at that price point. Like, yeah, they're like depending on what you get, like a quarter the price of clinch engineers or roll clubs, you know. So Dr. Soul Super Grip half sole. I love half soles, not really a fan of the full sole that goes into the heel stack. By the way, look at the shape of this heel. It's very nicely done. Sorry, dirt. I do actually wear them, so there's dirt on them. Great sole. Not slippery, good grip, but low profile. They're a little cushy, but they're also hard wearing, so it's not like I'm going to have to replace these soon. Like, even with some heel drag, they're pretty resistant to wear, so that has been awesome. Unstructured toe, unlined throughout. This is a natural edge. The shaft is like what they call an 11-inch shaft. I didn't measure it to see like exactly what it is. The brass roller buckles, they're great. Ironically, they're actually better than the clinched ones and the roll club ones in my experience. And all I mean by that is I had one, maybe because I tightened the straps too tight or something, I don't know. But one of the clinch ones, the little prong came off, and it's easy to put back on. I just got some pliers and bent it back on. But it was like, oh, that sucks. It fell off. And then, yeah, with the roll club ones, it's like this was too long. So not a big deal, but it was like this right here was too long, and it was sharp, and it kept catching on my pant leg. So I like snipped the end of it off. I don't know. Weird. But these, no problems. Although this does make some noise sometimes, but I kind of like it. It makes me feel like I'm in the cavalry or something. And I didn't have to punch any extra holes, even for my low instep. I just kept it on that first hole, and it's been good. And this particular leather, it's not like tearing and stuff the way that the horse bud on the clinches does, because it's just, I don't know. The horse bud is so dense that I think it tends to crack and stuff. Anyways, really cool rolled shaft collar, which I think looks great. Yeah, and just check out all the stitching and stuff. Like sheesh, they're doing a great job over there, you know? Really cool. It's like, hey, Wesco, what are you guys doing? Because these guys are knocking it out. You might want to take some pointers from Briselblack. Yeah, I get it. Wesco's a different vibe. Not really knocking them. I'm just kind of smack talking a little bit. All in good fun. I like Wesco. They just didn't fit me. That's all. But if they fit you, that's great. But yeah, these are cool. Gorgeous leather. Again, it took me a while to really get used to it, because I was just like, oh, it's not what I expected. And when something's not what you expect, it takes a while to love it. But then when you get to see the beauties it does have, you're like, oh, cool. So yeah, some crocking here and there. I love how these, I don't do anything like, I don't make it do any of this. It's just the natural way these fall, and yeah, crocking there. And I like how it's done it. Probably one gripe is their heel counter's not super thick, and because of that, it's flexible, and because it's flexible, you get this weird puckering. So in my opinion, they need to get like thicker leather heel counters, if possible, if they can do that. But everything else is good. Like, this is super solid. This is like this because I think I like bashed my heel into something, because I walk like a clown or something. I'm just clumsy. I'm like an ox. But other than that, everything's like super well made. I mean, nothing's showing signs of like falling apart or anything. So no worries there. But I just think if they had a better heel counter that you couldn't like push in easily, then you wouldn't have this nasty creasing here. Clicking's pretty good. Like, check it out. But it's not great. But, you know, it's veg tan. So having, like, insanely tight grain on a veg tan boot is sometimes kind of hard to achieve. So I'm not going to knock them on that. And, again, this is me. I kneel down a lot. I don't know. I got kids, playing with the kids, doing housework and whatever. So no gripe there. That's kind of on me. Again, if you don't like that, just order it with a toe puff. That's your solution. So yeah, not the best clicking I've ever seen. Definitely not. But overall, pretty good. The lighting in here is like awful, and my camera phone sucks. You know, this is not a super nice camera. So let's just say what you're seeing right here, they look like that, but not as washed out. They're like more saturated. They're like a really deep, warm, inviting, like rusty brown, okay? So like russet. Right now they kind of look like a pale peanut color, and they're more like a really deep, like the depth of color is so great. So I don't know, maybe I have some pictures I can post, I don't know, but really nice, and it's like warmed up so nice, especially on areas like this where like the pant leg is like burnished or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, man, they fit great. I think they look great. Let me think if there's anything else. Oh, well, one thing I thought was a little weird that maybe they could change is like they didn't label anything when I received it. So like the box wasn't labeled, the boots weren't labeled, and the packing slip was not labeled. So there's not really any way to verify like this is indeed what I ordered, right? Because it doesn't say what size it is on the box or the boots or anything. It doesn't say what leather it is on the box, the boots or whatever. It doesn't say the specs. And so you're kind of just taking their word for it. Like if it's a leather you've never tried before, like this in theory could just be like some other random leather, and you'd be walking around like, oh yeah, I got these Tochigi boots. And maybe they are, maybe they're not. Be like, oh yeah, these were 43.5s. They fit perfect. It's like, how do you know they're not 42s and they got mixed up with someone else's order? I don't know. As far as I know, they're perfectly fine. Like everything matches up. The pictures I've seen of Tochigi, the size fits great. So I'm not saying I think that's the case. I'm just saying it's always a good idea, I think, for makers to label their stuff, right? Because it's just a little peace of mind. But you know what? If it's only little issues like that I have with Briselblack, man, we're doing great. So, like, really no crazy issues. These do fit well, which means they're a little hard to get on. A good engineer boot is a little hard to get on. Not like take your breath away hard, not like scream and shout hard to get on, but you know, they should give you a tiny little fight as you're passing your foot through this portion. And for that reason, I wish they had a little tiny low profile pull tab right here. So I get them on just fine, but it's a little more work than it is like with my my clinch. My clinch have a little like pull tab there, and so yeah, that could be cool. But you know what? Whatever. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, the shape of everything. The Kapak Last is beautiful. Like the curvature here. This, like, I don't know. I just think that looks very vintagey. Super great. For my purposes anyway. Great proportions. This heel shelf is well executed. It's not like sticking out super far. I hate it when they do that. So they're really trying to give it all the right touches. Really good design. You look at this and you can tell, oh, this is very clinch inspired. But they're not copying clinch per se. They are doing their own thing. I can say that. Having, you know, both those, I can say they're not just trying to clone this other company. Like, they're doing their own thing. I know they've gotten a lot of input too from people like Jake and others. Jeff, the denim dentist. Yeah, and again, probably others. So great. The leather is, man, what would I say? It's actually pretty smooth. Like, yeah, like it's aniline, but there's not much there, which is fine. I don't need there to be like these crazy bumps and veins and all this stuff, but, and it's pretty soft, okay? It's pretty soft. It's not like floppy soft, not like suede soft, but enough. But it still holds the shape, because that's a characteristic of veg tan, is it like it will hold its shape. This is why they use it for like holsters and things like that. A lot of like equestrian kind of stuff, because you can make something to go around like the shape of like a pistol or a tool or whatever, and then it'll hold that shape for you until you like wet it and smash it, and then maybe not. The leather seems to respond to friction, like places like this where the pant leg will rub it a lot, as opposed to like fluids. So like I've gotten these wet a bunch and they don't darken, and you're like, oh dude, it would have been cool if I got some patina out of that, you know? But then if there's like some friction, then that part will darken, and then oil obviously will darken it. So yeah, anyways, we'll see what these look like in the long run, but now that I'm used to the leather, I'm pretty happy with it. Great hardware, great sole, hand welted. I kind of said that already. I'm just going through my list that I wrote down. Good stitch work. Ordering's pretty easy, and you just pay them like on, I think it was PayPal. The shaft dimensions are great for slim denim. It might be a little hard to get your foot in if you've got this gargantuan instep, so just be aware of that. Obviously, you can adjust this a bit, but even if you go to the highest hole, like, it's still kind of hard. So just make sure, you know, you send them some measurements. They're not going to do a custom boot for you, but just be like, hey, just can you check my instep measurement? And you know, you wrap the tape measure like around here and like from your heel across and stuff, and say, hey, can you just make sure that you think my foot will actually get in the shaft? But other than that, yeah, great for like slim denim. I don't wear slim denim. I usually have like a 9-inch leg or so, and it fits under that really easily. But yeah, if you're the guy that's trying to put these under like 7.5-inch jeans or other pants, I'm not going to guarantee it, but this is going to be an engineer boot that's one of your better bets for trying to accomplish that task. As I said, I feel like the value as far as what you're paying and what you get is pretty great. Of all the engineer boot purchases I've had, like, this is the one I'm by far the most happy with. Okay, let's just put it that way. I'm not in the market for more of these. I'm actually kind of putting a lot of this hobby on the back burner these days, but like, if I was gonna buy like 5 engineer boots in different colors, I'd probably just go to Briselblack and be like, here's my money. I want 5 of this same exact engineer boot, but with different like specs. Yeah, different leathers, different specs. Yeah, and it's a good heel cup. Like, despite what I said about it being kind of soft, the shape of it, this way and this way, it really cups your heel. Like, this is one thing that it has better off than everything I've tried except for roll club. Like, for a stock boot, this is probably the one pull-on boot I've ever put on that's like a stock boot, not custom measurements like roll club, where this and the instep work together and they just suck your foot in and lock it in. For my foot anyways. Everyone's foot's a little different, so can't guarantee. But yeah, that's kind of the deal. So anyways, really happy with these. And, you know, it's awesome too because, where's that thing? I've got this Wild Frontier Goods belt. And as they both darken, they're beginning to meet in the middle. Like, originally this belt was way darker than these because, yeah, look at that. But look at the strap here. Like, they're getting close. And so eventually they'll match really, really nicely, I think. And I'm going to be stoked. But anyways, yeah. I've worn these like every other day since I got them. So it's now like mid-January 2024. And I got these like November 27th. So let's just call it December. So I've worn these for like a month and a half. 6 weeks. And I've worn them like every other day that whole time. And yeah, just obviously have super positive things to say. Anyways, I think that's it for now. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Happy to answer whatever you have. And oops, as I always say, let your boots take you to places more important than the boots themselves. See you next time.